good evening. I'm Lena Coates. I'm the Secretary of the KAV, and on behalf of our illustrious President and Committee, we'd like to welcome everyone to the first online event. And look, congratulations on embracing this. It's a new way of doing things in these unprecedented times, but at least it keeps us all together. Now, we're planning to run these Kazzie Connects as a way of bringing the community together, but it's not a meeting, and it's just a platform where we can all get together and talk as we have. So we're hoping to bring you some interesting speakers over the next couple of months. So now what I'd like to do is actually, if we can just keep the questions to the end, and we've got because we just want to keep things moving. So I'm going to hand over to our President, Nick Spartels, who I can say over the last couple of years has worked absolutely tirelessly to bring a new tenant to the front of the building. And what we're going to do tonight is show you some pictures of what's been done. And then there are a couple of new additions to the building at the back, which I'm sure you're going to find interesting and also be really pleased with. At the conclusion, a little bit of a surprise, we're going to take you to Castellorizo, and our correspondent Emma is going to give us an update to tell us what's been going on over there. So hopefully you're going to enjoy the first Kazzie Connect, and I'm going to hand over to Nick now to say a couple of words. Nick?
Thanks, Lena. Thank you very much, and welcome everyone. Under these unprecedented times, I said last week to a few people, I can't really believe that I'm actually walking around with a mask and being unable to see people my own age group and to meet people out in 2020. It's just surreal. It's unfortunate. We'll go down in history. Our committee has probably been the first committee not to be able to have a function, which is not a big tick for us, but we've tried very hard to keep the club going. And my committee, thank God, I've got 11 people that are right behind me. We're like family, and I can't thank them from the bottom of my heart. They have done so much for me and the club to keep the club going the way it is. It's funny, our forefathers came over here 95 years ago, and they were very lonely people, and they basically set the club up so that they could have friends and support each other through hard times and lonely times. And here I am sitting here 95 years later with all you people on this screen, and we're doing the same thing. So, times really haven't changed. Our forefathers set this up for us in case situations like this have eventuated. And it's just amazing now that we have to be there for each other and support each other through this COVID crisis, because I know out there's a lot of people suffering, especially the seniors. I feel sorry for my mum and dad and a lot of the seniors, because they're unable to go out and meet and have fun together. I mean, every once a month, Chrissy was doing a wonderful job with the seniors, and we've had to just put that on hold. And I really feel sorry for everyone, but I just want to stress that we're here. We're Kazzies. We're rich because we love our island, and we're rich because we love each other. And that's our wealth. And we need to help each other and make sure that you ring people that you think are lonely, or just ring them and say, hey, do you need any support or anything like that? I mean, we're here. If anyone's got any problems or any financial issues or anything, they know they can pick up the phone and ring us, speak to myself or any of the rest of the committee that we've got, and we'll be there to support everyone. So look, it's just, I just can't understand how long this is going to go for. We've missed out on Kazzie of the Year. We didn't have St. Constantine and Helen's Day this year, and it doesn't look like we're going to have St. Constantine and Helen's Day next year. So look, we've got to, hopefully we'll get out of this mess and be able to catch up in the near future, so we can again shake hands, give each other a kiss and a hug if we're allowed to do that.
All right, Nick, do you want to show us some pictures of the hall? front
Yep,
building?
yep.
Okay.
Can I just jump in for a second and say that while we're waiting for 1 second, just that it's interesting that it's fallen, our first meeting's fallen on Are You OK Day, the national day where we check up on people to make sure about their well-being and their mental health. So well done the Kazzie Club for actually doing it on today. So great idea, Lena, and thank you, Nick, for leading us through it.
Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. Okay, Nick, that's a photograph of the first, like really how we sort of found.
Okay. So on January the 11th this year, the carpet guy was left, and the place was actually in a very dusty condition. I've never seen so much dust in that building, and it took a few days to clean it out. The new tenants came in and gave it a good clean. If you can keep going, Caroline. So obviously we're a bit concerned, Peter and I were a bit concerned about the load that was in that building for many years. The floor, we were worried about the carpet, the stumps and the bearers, but it was, up to our amazement, the floor was in very good condition and wasn't bouncy at all. So we were very lucky. This little area here is the new toilet block. They've put 2 showers in there and a toilet. I've got some more photos, and up the top there, they put storage. Now, if you have a look at the windows, they're the original windows for our premises. They were actually coated in a black substance that took 2 guys about 4 days or 5 days to peel off. We've noticed that there is a few of the glass windows that have cracked, but unfortunately, we'll just let it be for the future. We might have to eventually change it. But part of the permit, we have to put a 10mm glass, a clear glass, in front for the noise reduction from the block of flats next door. So as you can see, it's a bit shiny there, and that's the thickness of the glass. So there's no outside noise whatsoever. That green area, there's artificial grass. That's a running track they've put in there. And all those black boxes on the wall are computers and TV monitors, which will monitor their training regime in the mornings and at night times. The maximum these people can have in here is, I think, about 25 on the permit, 25 people at one time. All the lights have been converted to LED. The whole place has been totally rewired. They've also put down floor leveler because where the B body fit sign is there is where the old platform was, and the floor had sunk a little bit. So they've put floor leveler down there. They've put yellow tongue down to protect our floor, and then the rubber mat substance has gone on top. So whatever happens eventually down the track, they haven't damaged our floor whatsoever. So that's it. They're the rubber mats. So there's actually two layers on top of the original floor there. Now, you can see where the arch is over there. Eventually, they're going to go in now for a permit to get a little cafeteria in there and utilise the outside of the building with tables and chairs and just have like a takeaway, a sit down for about 16 patrons, so which will be very interesting. We'll keep going here.
Yep.
Okay, up the top there, you'll see up where the scaffold is. We've removed the render up there because the render was, in those days, they made it only out of line. There wasn't any cement on there, so it was falling off. So to make it safe, we cut a line across there, and the boys ended up ripping it all down and taking it away. Eventually, all upstairs there, it will be all glass, and they'll end up putting some offices up there and some storage area. So this is the start of the equipment going in about 3 weeks ago. And it's more. Mirrors are going in.
Were there any surprises, Nick, or did you find anything in the building?
Well, there's a new toilet. There's one toilet, but of course they can still use our toilets down the back. They've only put one ambient toilet, they call that one, and 2 showers. So they spent a bit of money. I think around about 260,000's gone into it with all the equipment and doing it all up. That's just a floating floor that we've put out the back of the premises now. I don't know if anyone hasn't seen this, but the existing driveway at the back now has got a platform, or what Lena calls a dance floor, and we utilised that at the Kazzie of the Year last year. Another shot there. That's when we're building it. Now these doors here, Christine Diamond wasn't happy with the original doors that we had there, and we've put these new aluminium see-through doors, which are easy to open. They don't get stuck like the original doors that we had there, and they actually can, if you have a look at that door on the left there, it can stay like that on a 90-degree angle. So now we've got more room now to put tables and chairs on either side, and the access to the lighting panel now is much easier. So we've ended up putting that in the last 6 months, which we're very happy about.
That's it. That's the slideshow.
Is that it? That's it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Surprises, Lena. The only surprise, as I said before, I mentioned about the floor not being stable enough to withhold the gymnasium, but it was built very well and very strong. So I'm very happy with that.
So Nick, just so you can tell people that what we as a committee have done. In your opinion, where do you think we would be now if we hadn't gone ahead with what we're doing, financially especially?
Well, I think it's a very gutsy move, what we've done, and I'm not trying to pump myself up or the committee, but it was a risk what we went and did. I mean, it was on the cards for the last 10, 15 years. It was just a matter of someone just pulling the pin to do it. And we took well, it was a big challenge for us, and I just thank God the committee behind me was behind me to take out the guy that was renting our premises for over 30 years. Now, the only problem was we knew we had problems because our land tax was going up to around about $20,000. We only had $66,000 worth of rent coming in, so something had to be done. We probably could have got away with it the next few years, but look, it had to be changed. I was very fortunate to find a tenant that came in at $135,000 a year. And I think it's been a godsend for the club, because if Joe was still there now, I think we'd be in big trouble. $66,000 and not getting rent, or even getting half of that rent, would be suffocating us a little bit. So look, we're very fortunate, and look, this next 10 years, everything going well, we'll have $1.5 million coming into the club. So the next committees we've built a great footing for them. They've just got to take it to the next step, and hopefully our youth, our future members will build up now, that knowing that we're financially very secure. We're probably now in the top 3 richest Greek clubs in Victoria, and there's a lot of them dropping off right now as we speak due to the COVID. So yeah, that's all I could say.
Again, Lena, could I jump in and say that really people might not realise that the quotes that we got to do that sort of work were huge, and Nick was able to organise them for a much less price, which has saved the club a huge amount of money. I know that the plans to refurbish and restore parts of the club were going to cost in excess of $1 million. So while we haven't done all of that, we've facilitated our ability to actually get bits and pieces done. And Nick and his contacts have done a lot of it for a far reduced price, and having this tenant in to do a lot of the other work for us has been awesome. So, I mean, well done for the leadership through that, Nick. We really appreciate it. We did everything above board. We did it the right way, and I'm really proud of what the committee's done.
I second that, Philippa. Without the leadership of Nick and the rest of the committee, I think we've done a good job in getting it to where it is now. Nick, I wanted to ask about the material on the windows. In the old days, they actually used to put tar on the windows. Perhaps it was that?
I don't think it was a tar. It did have actually, I think they checked it out to make sure it didn't have any lead in it. But it would have been, it was a similar substance. I've never seen it, to be honest with you, but it took ages to get it off. But anyway, look, the place is back to original, how it was many years ago. So,
you mentioned earlier on that they're limited in numbers, and what times do they actually use it? Is it early morning or afternoon?
It'll be used a lot in the mornings. I think it starts about 5:30 till about 9 o'clock's their busiest period, and in the afternoon from 5 o'clock onwards.
Oh, right. So in actual fact, if we were to have a function there or whatever, it really wouldn't, by having them in the front, would really not impact us at all.
At all, nothing.
No, because usually our functions are held on weekends, etc. anyway, or in the evening.
Yeah, and another thing, I know with the toilets too, they'll be in charge. They actually want to do the toilets up, the toilet area up, and they'll maintain everything there for us too. So that's great. We don't have to get cleaners in there every time we have a function. So I'm happy with that.
Okay. And they didn't actually alter any of the original or the heritage parts of the building?
No, weren't allowed to. Another thing we've gone to great lengths in achieving this the last 12 months is the change of the town planning for our building. I just got notified about 6 weeks ago that we are now allowed, we'll have dual commercial and residential, which is unbelievable. And in the future, if any, what that means is that at the back of the premises, we're allowed to do a 4-story building. Now, the funniest thing about this at the moment, the front of the hall was deemed to be rated residential only, and the back of our premises that we have our functions in was commercial. So now that we've got the 2 of them on board, the council have supported us. They went to fight it for us because it was changed about over 10 years ago. So we'll hopefully have the town planning by February next year. So that only makes our building worth a lot more money too. So very happy with that outcome also.
Alrighty. We're just waiting for Emma, our correspondent, to be hooked in. Did you mention
any more questions from anyone?
Pardon, Nick, you're happy to take questions?
Yeah, can you get everyone off mute if anyone wants to
Nick,
ask me a question? Yes.
Hi, Nick. I've got a question. How long? Yeah. How long?
Your name?
Yeah, it's Jacob. I'm speaking.
Jacob.
Yeah. Nick, how long is the company going to lease the premises from us?
Okay, we've got a 10-year lease. Now, what's happened, Jacob? Also, the original tenants that came in have sold the business to another 4 guys, which we've all the next couple of days will be signed over. So they actually want a 15-year lease. We've gone for a 5x5 lease at the moment, but look, we'll give them another 5 years in 10 years' time if everything goes to plan. I mean, the beauty of this, Jacob, is that they really haven't disturbed the premises that much. We've also taken a very good bond, a bond of 12 months. So if they walked out tomorrow, we get $135,000. And in that clause, if they go on for the next 2 years without being 1 day late on their rentals, in 2 years' time, we'll give them 3 months of their bond back. So we've got a lot of security behind us, Jacob. So yeah, and they wanted 10 years, and they'll probably take much more after that. But look, as you know, mate, we're very fortunate to have it rented in these times. Yeah, we're very happy about it.
With currently, you know, with the situation, with all the restrictions, when will they be obligated to pay any rent? When will that start from?
Okay, the deal I've done, with the government, where we have to give them 50. It's a mandatory that we give them 50% reduction on their rent. Now, from March to September this year, so they will start paying rent. Obviously, when they start using the premises, and the condition is by June 30th, 2021, they will pay our 50% of the rent to us by next year.
When do you think? When do you think they will finish having it ready for the gym to start? Any idea?
It's ready, mate. The place is
ready. It's ready now. Okay.
It's all ready to go. We're just waiting for the government to give them the go-ahead to start.
No, good. Well, congratulations, Nick. Congratulations to you and the committee. You've done an excellent job. When I think back that not that long ago, some people wanted to sell up the place and get rid of what is our home. I'm so glad that most of the people here were against that move. And I think a lot of people will be quite surprised as to how well the club now has advanced in securing its future. So thank you.
I really appreciate that, Jacob. Thank you. But, it's a team effort. And I think everyone on this Zoom meeting now have participated greatly the last 20, 30 years to get the place where it is today. So I don't want just my committee to take all the accolades. It's everyone that's stuck by us. And we really appreciate your feedback. It just makes things, it's a thankless task what we do. It's Peter Coach's favourite line, but it's a very true line. And just to get that feedback, and thank you, Philippa, for your kind words too. It makes you just want to keep going, keep this place rocking.
Can I ask a question? Yep. Are you finished, Jacob?
Yeah, I've finished.
Okay, it's Chrissy Dimer here. Yes, congratulations. I reinforce whatever Jacob said. I think you've done an outstanding job and it's come up beautifully. The doors look terrific in the entrance to the hall also, Nick. Thanks for that. I think it'll be a great bonus. If and when we can start to use the hall, it'll be great. The question I want to ask, and I suppose I'm thinking of all the gym participants, as we know, the parking situation there is abominable. Did they get any special allowances for parking, or what are they planning to do, the people that use the gym, the participants and the people that are going to be running it? Where will they park their cars?
Well, it's across the road now. It's become all-day parking in front of the council building, the town hall, and a lot of them will obviously come by bicycles and the trams. So look, they got dispensation for all that, and again, we're very fortunate we got that, because that was a big argument in the process of the council. So, and you'll find the majority of people will be from that vicinity. Will be walking to the complex. So there's a lot of young people there in that area, and they'll just walk there. So it didn't seem to be a bother for the council with the car parking restrictions. And also in the morning, Chrissy, there's no one there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
True.
So park anywhere around that area.
Yes, and if they decide in the future to have a cafe out the front, what will they do for toilet facilities if there's only one in the gym and people ask to use the toilet as they do in coffee shops?
Well, they don't. If you go to a cafe, get a takeaway, they don't.
Well, takeaway, yes, but if they have tables and chairs there, you assume people are going to sit down and have their coffee there, or a snack or a muffin or whatever it is they're going to offer.
Well, if that's it, in the end, that's their problem. If they want to go and get the permit and need to put extra toilets in to COVID,
exactly.
It's got nothing to do with us.
And lastly, do you think they'll make any allowances for us as residents of the building and owners, that we will be able to use the gym or use their services?
Of course, that'll be the next thing I'll work out.
Okay.
With them, so we might be able to get a cheaper discount, a good discount for being there, for the premises, for training there. So we'll see how we go.
Okay, thanks, Nick. No, that's great. I'll hand over to someone else.
Can I jump in again? Sorry, that's a great idea, Chrissy. Just imagine if we were able to offer our young people a reduced membership at the gym. What would bring them more than that? What a great idea, Chrissy.
Exactly. And bring them back into the club rooms for something afterwards, or coffee and a chat, or whatever the case may be, I was thinking. So I think that's how we can move forward with the younger people. But even so, I was thinking, just like Christine Lolis used to do some years ago when Tony and her lived in Melbourne, she used to take a yoga class in our club rooms before we started our seniors. So I was thinking they possibly have personal trainers and other people we as seniors might be able to employ to come in and give talks or conduct a small chair-based exercise program.
Is there any other questions anyone wants to ask me at all?
George.
George? How are you, George?
Nick, congratulations. Sincere congratulations, really and truly. You've done a superb job. You mentioned that the building that we're using at the back, we can now build to 4 stories.
Yes,
is that
right.
correct? Right. What provisions have you got to allow us to do that in case the tenants, what's the word I'm trying to find, prevent us or bring it up that because of building, you know, we may want to build it one day. It might not be for many years. It might be your grandchildren. But the fact is, we have the provision to do it, and we can do it. And of course, that can lead to us creating all sorts of good things for us. So have you thought about that? Is there a clause in the legal contracts to allow us to do that? And has that been looked at?
Well, we haven't really put anything in it like that because it hasn't eventuated yet. So February it will. But look, I'm sure George will be able to work something out with them. The only concerning item that Peter, Coates and I have spoken about is the toilets, to build on top of the toilets. We might have to look. We might have to consult with them and see what we can do there. But what we were thinking is maybe bringing in some. If we did the 4 stories, we turn the ground floor into an office or another residence where we can lease that out for around about 35,000 the floor, and then the first floor we're going to make our reception area for the Kazzies, and then the 3rd floor we're going to do an archive floor, and on the rooftop garden we're going to put a rooftop garden on the roof. So we're looking in the future. It's not going to happen in the next few years. I can assure you that now, especially the times that we're going through, but getting some more income from that back premises. If we can rent that bottom floor out for 35,000, then we can put a lift into the 1st, 2nd and 3rd floor, and that's the areas that the Kazzies can use. So we're going to basically 3 times the floor space that we've got there now, and still receive some money. And if worst comes to worst later on, if anything happens, our future members can always rent all the rest of the floors out. So look, I think we're going to. The vision for us, we're in a very good position. We're going to be around for another 100 years. I can assure you. So it's just a matter of who's going to get on board and help with it. I can't do everything, and neither can my committee. So we just need backing, and this is why we need to get this communication happening with everyone, so that you can go and tell your grandkids what a fantastic job we're all doing here, what we're doing for the club. And they've got to support us, because really, in the end, we'll be gone in the next 5-10 years, and it's the future of our younger set like Fortis. They've got to pull their fingers out. They've got to get on board, because this is for their kids. We're gone past it. As I said, we've set it up for them. We just need people now. I don't want to keep telling people to come and help us and support us. They have to do it, because this club's got to last, and it will last. We've got some beautiful people on. People love us. The Kazzies are very respectable in the whole world. We've done very well, and we just want to keep it going. So I just need everyone to support us, not just the people on the screen, their families, their kids. I mean, if the kids aren't coming to the club, well, there's no point us pursuing what we're doing. We might as well just rent everything out and just so be it.
Okay, well said, Nick, and thank you so much for taking us through the hall and leading us through these difficult times, because without sorting out that front hall, we could be in a really precarious position financially and the club could be jeopardised. But this way, it's actually been secured for future generations. So, you know, we just need to get that support so we're getting more people coming there. But what I thought we might do now, we're just trying to get on to Emma. So what I thought we'd do is we'd unmute everybody so you can have a chat, and then we'll get Emma on the line and she'll take us through Castellotti's.
Can I just read something out that Fortis has just texted me? He had to go. He just texted me, and this is what I want to hear. Nick has to run. Sorry, I'm blown away. That was amazing. Congratulations. Thank you for securing our future. I will be speaking to Stussy about it all and look forward to getting things going next year for the younger set. That's all I want to hear.
That's wonderful.
It's very crucial. All good work doesn't go downhill. The future of the club, another stepping stone for the club to go ahead. It's up to the parents, get the kids involved with the club. Look what they've got. And you've got to remember that without Joe, we wouldn't have been in this position today. He financed 2 renovations of the place, which was the ongoing for this to come along as well. All the years he gave us a rent that put us in a good financial position. And the place, I'll go along with everybody else, the place looks fantastic. And it's all up to committee to try and, for the next committee, come in and keep the good work going. The place looks fantastic and it's secured.
Nick's not going anywhere yet. He's there for another year.
Yeah.
Thanks,
But I'm talking about 5-10 years down the track, Connie. It's got to keep going. And have a look at the place. Why not?
I can't say.
Nick.
There's Evelyn. Hi, everyone.
Who's that?
Lovely to see
Hi,
you. Welcome to Melbourne. Yeah.
Lena, I'd like to thank you for organising this today because
There's Alex.
very much. Any more questions?
Nick, I had a question. Oh, sorry. I just had a question. I was just going to say thank you for the presentation about the front part of the building. I mean, that's I couldn't imagine what it's like, and it's good to see all the snaps of the space and the windows. It's a wonderful story, and congratulations to you and the committee. And I can only support what has been said so far. My question is the membership, the back section, which look lovely. Is there anything else that the building had, any renovations there or any requirements that you've had to follow up with in recent times? What's the place?
Okay, what we've done, which I didn't mention, that we've put all new cabinets out the back there. For Florence is Florence organised all that to do all the archives, which I thank her very much for everything she's done with all that and getting it all up to date. And that's it. Look, with that list that the last committee organised for the inspector to come, we got rid of everything on that list. So look, there's not much more money that has to be spent on that building. The only thing we're looking at, I was looking with Peter Coates, is that eventually we might have to put a disabled ramp in off the side street there, and also I think Chrissy's asked us to see if we can fix up the kitchen a little bit better for catering purposes. So I think that's all. And the floor's starting to, in that back room is a little bit sus. It's starting to bounce a little bit, but that's it. That's just maintenance, and yeah, there's not much.
What about
we have
IT? IT in the main room?
Yes.
I missed that.
IT in the in the main room for presentations and all that stuff. Could we update the IT?
Well, we can do that eventually. But the main thing is we've got nothing that has to be done immediately. So especially these times now, I don't want to go along and spend too much money now. We just want to make sure we're secure. So
Good. Thanks, Nick. That's good. Thank you.
I just can't believe how you guys have embraced this technology. I was a bit nervous about all this, as a committee was as well, but if we've had this reputation, and we're hoping to bring some really interesting people along for the next couple of months, so tell your children to join, because there's going to be some really interesting things coming up. We're hoping to get George Kalis to be talking about the situation with the pilots. We want this forum to be just purely Kazzie Connect. It's not a meeting. So if you've got any ideas about people you'd like to have speak, or noticed, I don't know if you guys have seen, all the glitters from the Hellenic Museum has come out, where they're showing you the jewellery. So I thought perhaps we might even be able to do something like that, or with the costumes. So if you've got any ideas, just email them to info@castiloresor.com.au, and we'll certainly try and get people along.
Just also, just for the record, we'll be postponing our AGM till the end of January, I think, next year, due to COVID also. So we thought it would be better. So look, it's actually a great little activity that we've got onto Zoom, so that we can at least get 25, because at this stage we might be still doing it by a Zoom meeting. So it's a very strong possibility. So we're hoping that the virus would get out of our lives, and we'll be able to do it physically. But at this stage, it'll be probably a Zoom meeting at the end of January.
Nick, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
It's Helen Katsoulis here.
Helen,
I just wanted to ask whether the club officially is going to take a stance or write a letter to the Prime Minister about the situation in Castellorizo.
Yeah. Well, it's actually funny you bring that up. I had to prepare some information for the paper over in Greece a few weeks ago, but George Kalis, I don't know if anyone knows George Kalis, he's onto that at the moment. He's got about 30 Kazzies that have got together and have written a letter to the Prime Minister asking him for help, to help our island. So look, at this stage, I spoke to Emma Gavala, who just left Castellorizo 2 days ago, and she said it's very surreal over there. They're not panicking. The ship's out in the harbour all the time now, and they've just changed over a couple of weeks ago. The army, the boys changed over. So she said, look, everything's all right at the moment. And no one's panicking. So I think what we're hearing in the media too is a bit.
Emma's there.
Hello from Greece.
Go. Can you please tell everyone this is Emma Gavala?
I feel like literally the spotlight is on me. Hope everyone's safe. Hope you're doing well. I'm missing Australia, even if you're missing Greece. The reverse is happening here.
Beautiful. And can you do us a favour? Can you just run past what's been happening in Castellorizo with the Turks, please, and the situation on the island?
Sure, I can give a brief. First of all, for those who don't know me, I'm Emma Gavala. So I've known Nick from the time I was in Melbourne 3 years ago. I'm originally Kazzie from my grandpa. The surname is Sahidzi. I've also been to your association. Anyway, I literally just came back from the island. I've spent there like 40 days or so. I was working remotely, so I spent a fair amount of time to see like the whole, situation evolving. So I can tell you what I've seen, because there are like lots of rumors, not just rumors, but some things are more dramatic than what they are actually. But the situation is also not pretty good, in my opinion. So for the past few days, overall, there was tourism in the island. I can say it wasn't really empty or, isolated. there was a fair amount of tourism, like all Italians made it. The only people who really didn't make it were the Australians. So that's number one. And then for the past few days, we had an influx of journalists, like endless journalists coming to the island from Washington Post, Le Monde, like the biggest newspapers of the world. And to me, I won't confirm that I'm saying things that I've observed, because, you know, lots of things are being said in the island which might not be true. This is what's kind of worrying, because they send their like military correspondents. So this was like, okay, why is this so serious? Then, yeah, there's like lots of army on the island. There are special forces, which they're not operating right now, but, you know, I guess they're ready in case of emergency. And yes, when it comes to locals, you know, I've also asked locals, how do you feel, you know, with the situation? And they're like, just as if you're driving a car and you're scared every time you're going to crash. It's like you don't think of it when you enter in the car. So they continue their life as usual. Same for like people in Kash. So yes, in my opinion, it's not great. What I read on foreign news, on like policy, foreign policy, let's say, reviews of the situation, it's a pretty tense situation. Also, more things to say. So there is the celebration of 13th of September in a few days. So there's intense preparation for this. They're making renovations, they're preparing everything, because the president of democracy is going to come. And not only this, many representatives from the army, the many like political party representatives, and it's a tense time. And to be frank, I've heard that they're kind of worried, because sometimes, you know, there are even Turkish like planes flying on top of the island. For the record, I was flying on Monday, my flight got cancelled. It was a bit of a mess. I had to take the boat for 24 hours. And before each flight, the army like comes to the airport, they lift a drone up in the air and they check the whole region just in case there are like Turkish planes around. These, to me, they're a bit freakish things, you know, I have to admit, it's not something I'm used to. So yes, this is it. There's a bit of tension just up to the 13th of September. So we're gonna see by Sunday how the situation is gonna be. That's all. Hope it wasn't too dark.
Just explain to everyone what happened the other day with the Turks when that guy was seen and they thought someone... There was a sniper on the island. Can you remember recall that, what you said to me?
Yes, of course I remember. So it's a tragicomic event, in my opinion. That's why I shared with Nick. So there's someone in the island called Kazzie who is actually doing something amazing on the island. I don't want to speak about it now, maybe in the follow-up session next month. So yes, he really loves mountain hikes and he's very active in this. So I'm also climbing the mountain with him in like pretty hardcore, you know, paths and trails. So, but there's this one, like he goes, I think, a few days per week. He goes to Agios Stefanos, you know, the beach which is in the front part of the island with a small church. He goes there to water the plants, just out of his own, you know, care. And there's an orange tree, he goes there to water it. In the meantime, there's Turkish media in a small fishing boat. They're kind of spying in a way, I don't even know what. So the fishing boat in between Kash and Castellorizo, they have journalists there. So it was all over Turkish news, okay. The journalists in the fishing boat zooming into Castellorizo and saying, attention, like there are intense provocations from like the Greek side. Here you can see like heavily armed soldier. So that was like all over the news. And then Padazis found this from the Turkish public agency. And he's like, guys, the heavily armed soldier is just me. It's just I'm holding, you know, a soldier-like backpack. That was hilarious. But you know, I felt sometimes, you know, I'm also joining him in his hikes. So I'm like, next time you see 2 armed soldiers, it might be me as well. Anyway.
All right, thanks, Emma. Thank you. Any questions to Emma, anyone?
Can I just want to ask, I'm fairly ignorant of the politics in the last 20, 30 years that built up to this. I know there's the scenario, what's happening now. And I think Philippa said at the last Kazzie conference, there was a really good guest speaker there who knew about all the current stuff. Could we have maybe as our next speaker, an authoritative person tell us about what's built, as well as Emma about on the ground, but I'd like to be more informed about, it's not just current, is it? It's not just Erdogan, it's been fueling for years. I'd like to get, you know, the last 20, 40 years, and like a panel maybe, Emma and and someone, I don't know, I'd just like to be more informed about it all.
Thanks, Lauren. That's a great suggestion. I'll actually look into that.
Can I just jump in, Lena? It's Anastasia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, it's Anastasia. So I was having a chat with my cousin George Callis about giving us a bit of a chat about the historical reasons for the Turkey-Gustalordis or territorial border issue. He's going to put together a short article about the history, but secondly, he's going to suggest somebody that's in authority that can actually talk to us about the treaties and the histories and why it's still continuing today. So, Florence, we're onto it. It might just take a little bit of time.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but it's a great question. Absolutely.
Oh, lovely. Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Florence. That's great. Thanks, Anastasia.
Any questions to Emma?
Yes, I wanted to say that it's a great suggestion, of course, and it's great for overall Greeks in Australia to be more connected, with current political situation. I could maybe bring in someone from LSE, my university in London, because now at LSE we have a think tank, let's say embedded within the university, called the Hellenic Observatory. They do lots of talks and panels with professors, people in policy about the current situation, and maybe I could bring a PhD candidate I know. She's very well informed. She's like an Oxford graduate and stuff. I could ask her if she's willing to participate in the panel.
Wonderful.
Great idea.
Emma, I'll be in touch with you. It's Lena. Nice to meet you.
You?
So we'll work on a panel perhaps for one of the Kazzie Connects, and we'll get it. That's a great idea. Thanks, Florence. That's a terrific idea.
Thanks, Emma. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Lena, would you like me to give a little bit of an update on what my brother will talk about in October at our next Kazzie Connect?
Yes. Okay, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, great. So my brother George, we're originally from Perth. We're based in Melbourne. George is a captain with Virgin Airlines. So he's going to share two stories, and one is his journey to becoming a pilot from his days of flying commercial planes in the outback of Western Australia, beyond the black stump stuff, to being a captain with Virgin in Melbourne. But more importantly, he's the vice president of the Australian Federation of Pilots. And he has been representing the pilots in pretty much every single negotiating point with Bain, the administrator, and all the other parties that were bidding to buy Virgin. So now that the first hurdle is pretty much over, Bain is now the new owner, my brother's negotiation is now continuing with looking after the pilots and trying to get and to keep as many pilots employed, but still not knowing when our borders are going to open up. So he will present his experiences all this year about negotiating with Bain and the administrator and trying to protect the pilots in the meantime.
Thanks, Rosie. That's great.
My pleasure.
All right. Any further questions? Okay. Well, look, I'd like to thank Nick, who, as I mentioned, the last couple of years has really gone beyond and above to get, secure that front hall and make sure everything's right for us. Just bear with me just for a second. And in doing this, I hope that you felt some sort of connection to the Kazzie community, and please support it moving forward. The next one will be, I'm going to run it probably at the end of every month on the same day, but I'm not sure about that. So the next Kazzie Connect will be on Thursday, the 8th of October at 7 p.m. All the information will be in the e-bulletin and emails. And thank you again for supporting this. We weren't sure as a committee how it was going to go, but it's had, I think, a terrific representation, and hopefully it'll just get bigger and better. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Lena.
Thanks, Lena.
Thanks, Lena.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
That's lovely.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.